You were down in front of the bank. We saw you.
Oh, when you were walking.
Yeah,
Yeah, we were picking up meals there from the,
3Ds.
no, the,
Look up for me.
Everett Square Deli there, the deli.
Oh, that's what I meant. Oh, okay.
Yeah, we got to load our vehicles with the food there.
This is Mr. Leo.
Fred, how you doing?
Good, buddy.
Great, great to see you. Wow, someone disappeared.
Gene,
Hello,
Gene?
how are you?
No, Shane.
Sorry about that.
Yay.
Shane,
Yes.
what's our clerk's name?
Vitakevich.
All right, buddy. You got it now.
You know what? I do well, but once I'm on camera, it's just I get so nervous and I fumble over my words.
Well, not only that, but now you're
That's
reading.
okay.
things.
I'm reading at a higher level now.
There's Jeannie.
Hi.
Hi, Jeannie.
Hey, Shane.
Hey, Leo, how's goes it?
I can't get my screen to come on with everybody.
Susha, let's
Oh.
see what Susha says, and then maybe I go to Zoom from the studio then. Maybe I can go earlier. And look, it's okay, let me push it to 4:30. I can build my schedule around it. This fall, I will let you know. Но ты права, потом будет actually нет раньше. И на самом деле,
What time we have?
I got 6:59. So I'll give it a couple seconds.
Thank you.
I just left with the guys. Now those guys just left together. I went in the bathroom and wiped around a little bit, but it wasn't too bad.
Let's go for a record tonight. Let's go for midnight.
No, come on.
It's 10 minutes off.
I got the agenda on the screen. Shouldn't be too bad.
No.
We've all done our research and homework, so we're good. We're good.
I'm totally lost there.
Are we ready, please?
I'm ready to roll. You guys ready?
All right. I'd like to call this meeting to order for September 21, 2020, Planning Board. Can we have a roll call vote? A roll call in attendance, please.
Sure
Sorry.
thing. Leo Pisano,
Yeah,
Michael O'Connor,
Here,
George D'Angelo,
Here.
Cheyenne Rangel,
Yeah.
James Tarr,
Here.
Philip Mastrocola. I think I heard a yes, and Chairman Frederick Cafaso.
Present.
All right, we got, and on staff, we have Jeannie. See, I stutter under the audience.
oh,
Vidakevich, and
Good job.
myself, Shane O'Brien, land use planner.
Do we have any legal counsel in attendance?
No, no legal counsel in attendance today. So
Okay, thank you.
let me read off the agenda for the remote participation meeting. In response to Governor Baker's declaration of a public health emergency and the related emergency executive order dated March 12, 2020, the Everett Planning Board shall be meeting remotely until further notice. The audio conferencing application Zoom will be used for this purpose. An online link and telephone access number will be provided on all meeting agendas and also on the city's website. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings in real time via technological means on YouTube. In the event that we are unable to do so, despite best efforts, we will post on the city's website an audio or video recording, transcript, or other comprehensive record or proceedings as soon as possible after the meeting. This application will permit the public to access and participate in future board meetings and hearings. Instructions for joining meetings in this manner will be provided on the city and city clerk's websites. We extend our thanks for the understanding and participation in this matter, which is intended to keep the members of the board and the public safe. For this meeting, members of the public who wish to watch, listen, or provide comment during the meeting may also do so in the following manner, live on our YouTube page. And I think that is pretty much it. So without further ado, Mr. Chairman, we did roll call of the members, old business. We have item 1.
Item 1, please.
Sure. Old business, site plan review for 110 Tremont Street. It's a proposal to redevelop a formal industrial building into a 48-unit, 2-story structure. Residential building as shown on the plans entitled 110 Tremont Street by Lefreniere Architects. The site plan on a parcel shown on the site plan being a parcel of land referenced by Assessors Department as D0-04-000007, which was continued from the July 20th, 2020 meeting. So if the applicant is here to present the project, they may do so.
Good evening, Greg Antonelli, manager, 120 Tremont Street LLC, regarding the application at 110 Tremont Street.
Could you kindly propose what we're doing, Mr. Antonelli?
So initially, I'd come before the board 4 or 5 weeks ago with the conversion of the existing warehouse into a 48-unit building, which was then later discussed to make it a 47-unit building.
Mhm.
It's a grandfathered use. The existing use is going to be changed from industrial to residential and basically falls into the criteria of the Riverfront Overlay District. Some revisions to the plan were requested, such as from 48 units to 47 units. The open space to be calculated and listed on the land use table. The front yard, rear yard, side yard setbacks to be listed and shown as they are. a wall or some sort of fence along Tremont Street to prevent the headlights shining into the houses or properties across the street. That was added. And I think that was it.
Can we see the rendering of the building again, please?
Oh, sure. Apologize for that.
They have a rooftop deck over there. Is that correct, Greg?
Yes, that was on the first plan submitted.
Greg, do you have any specifications for that wall that you were building? What type of wall, how high, what screening?
I would say it's probably going to be fieldstone, as I built in the rear of 120 Tremont. As far as height, it's probably going to be 36 to 42 inches. Some sort of a seat wall, but not low enough, but not tall enough either. Probably have some lights built into it also to, actually, the wall may get pushed back off the curb or the back of the sidewalk 18 inches, and I'll probably put a row of planters in for the snow, so when they shovel or plow, it doesn't damage the wall. And that'll also give me a way to put some accent lighting in the front of the wall anyways to light it up.
We open for questions, Mr. Cafaso?
Yeah,
We are?
Yep.
Mr. Antelli, I had one point we brought up the last time. We were talking about 20% brick. How do we make out?
So as I stated to you that I have no real issue with putting brick. I actually like brick, that I would look at it. So, you know, in this particular area, that's not required.
Oh, it's not.
No, it's not.
I thought it was part of the Everett Building Standards.
Yeah. So basically what those,
Does 20 I'm sorry, the 20% standard for as I sent around for the Everett Design Standards to each of the board members, it's certain streets in the city. But let me grab that quickly. I can.
may I ask a question, Shane?
Sure thing.
That 20%, was that a recommendation and or a requirement of the board?
It's a recommendation, but being that the board approved the City of Everett design standards as a basis to review, the city design standards is incorporated with all board decisions.
Okay, here's my recommendation to the board moving forward, not just for this project, for any project. If that's the route the board chooses to go, they should put that before the city council so it gets signed into law, because recommendations can only go so far.
Sure, and just to speak on behalf of that, and so for all developers and board members alike moving forward, the 20%, the building facades is specific to Main Street, Broadway, Lower Broadway, Revere Beach Parkway, Ferry Street, Chelsea Street, Norwood Street, Elm Street, and Hancock Street. So it's specific to those streets where it mentions the 20%.
I like bricks, so I don't really have a problem with that, but there are some people that don't want to incur the cost of it. That's the issue that people complain about.
Sure, and we also want people coming in to understand that these are the streets that we want that 20% at minimum on. And when someone reads the design standards as well, has an understanding. If there's streets on there, the expectation is at 20%.
My name's here.
On the application, that the City of Everett Planning Board application for site plan approval, page 7, if I'm still going by the, that's the one I'm looking at. Almost nothing is checked off on that. Is there some kind of, I don't know if Jim Soper is here. Is there some kind of reason that's not all checked off? Just anything, traffic flow, external lighting, everything on that sheet. There's only a few things that are checked off. I was just wondering why. Is there an exemption here?
So I think that's the application that was submitted.
I don't know. That's the only one I got.
Is that what we're talking about? The application for site plan that was submitted?
Yeah.
That is correct.
So that probably would have nothing to do with Jim Soper. That would probably have to do with my architect.
Well, I'm just saying, you're coming under that criteria where you're getting, almost to say grandfathered on a certain item such as.
Yeah,
parking.
that's why I think that it wasn't checked off, because the architect knew it was a grandfathered use.
Well, I don't, that's what I'm saying, is Jim Soper, I'm asking the question, I guess, is our ISD commissioner in agreement with his architect on page?
Yeah, they are. The building department and planning is in agreement that it's a grandfather use. We went through this the previous meeting.
Yeah, when we discussed the technical review aspect of it, there was a lot of things that ISD considered grandfathered in for the pre-existing non-conforming use. So that's one of the things that we also considered as part of this. Looking at information about traffic and
So I'm to take this,
looking at lighting and
is it me? or
information
is
like
it
that
every-
is definitely important to the board. That's something that we looked at going through that list. I'm sorry, what was that, Leo? Oh, but
Are
going,
you broken up just
Yeah.
to me, or is everybody getting?
No, the audio is a little challenging right now.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Shane, I'm just saying, I got a checklist here with very little checked off. I can't say whether the applicant is correct or incorrect, and I'm looking for a little advice from somebody on that question. That's all, simple enough. If you're telling me it's fine, it's fine. If you're telling me they gotta look at it, you gotta look at it. Inclusionary zoning, does he come under inclusionary zoning here?
no, from like the previous information provided to the back, I guess, provided from Jim Soper, that most of the uses that were provided were grandfathered in as part of this project.
Okay. All I
So-
want to know that Mr. Soper's giving us the okay to basically accept this application the way it's made out. That's all.
Correct. And, like I said, the board has a certain standard that it needs for site plan review as well. And it's a comfort level in terms of if this project meets that.
That's all I care about.
Sure thing.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions, please? Mr. Antonelli,
Yes.
do you hear me?
Yes, I do.
Are we going to start this project before the one next door is finished?
Well, the one next door is probably 4 weeks away from being done. I just finally got my electric meters yesterday after 4 months. The whole inside's done. The parking lots can be paved in 10 days. This will be part of a more larger scale of what's to come to the right of the other building that's already done. So the tenants have now vacated, so it may happen sooner than later, sure.
Thank you. Any other questions of the board, please? Leo?
I'm all set. Thank you.
So we're going to continue with the public hearing. Is that not correct?
That's correct. We have continued since July 20th and the other meeting, so we'll have to reopen this up for the public hearing.
Did we announce the public hearing that night, or is it still?
Yeah,
open for the
we opened
public?
up the public hearing at that July 20th meeting. Because we did have that neighbor that had the comment in regards to the car lighting, which,
Lighting, yes, of course.
so, yeah, we continued it, and, that has been resolved through the wall matter. And let's see, let's see if there's any other questions from the public. All right, Mr. Chairman, would we like to open up to the public hearing portion?
I'm sorry.
Oh, shall we do one more round of public hearing and then we can close it?
All right. I'll ask 3 times once again, which I don't think it's necessary, but I'm going to ask. Is anyone in favor of this petition?
Sure thing.
Is anyone in favor of this petition? Is anyone in favor of this petition? Hearing none. That part of the public hearing is closed. I'm going to ask 3 times for those that may be opposed to this petition. Is anyone opposed to this petition? Is anyone opposed to this petition? Third and final time, is anyone opposed to this petition? Hearing none, that part of the public hearing is closed. Any questions, comments from outsiders or any members of the board?
I do not see anything on YouTube.
Hearing none, the chair will entertain a motion.
Make a motion for a recommendation for favorable action for site plan review for 110 Tremont Street.
Second the motion.
Motion has been made and seconded for favorable action for 110 Tremont Street. Roll call vote, please.
Sure thing. Michael O'Connor,
Yes.
Leo Pisano,
Yes.
Cheyenne Rangel,
Yes.
George D'Angelo,
Yes.
and Chairman Frederick Cafaso.
Yes,
All right.
the motion is
5-0.
passed unanimously.
All right. And we're not doing any recommendations to ZBA because he doesn't have to go to ZBA. So Greg, you're all set.
Thank you. Have a good evening. Thank you, members of the board.
Good night, Greg.
Thank you.
All right, item number 2. Waiver of site plan review for 54 Tileston Street. So we have a proposal to change an existing 3-family into a 6-family within the existing footprint of a house being a parcel of land referenced by Assessor's Department as G0-01-000157. This item was continued from the September 14th, 2020 meeting. So if the applicant is here, you may present your case.
I'm Beth McDougall. I'm the architect for the client at 54 Tileston. The existing building right now is considered a 3-family. It's being used as, the first floor is being used as Airbnb. The second floor is an apartment and the third floor is being used as an apartment and Airbnb. He's legal, he's got all his permits and all that kind of thing. What we'd like to do is to change the building into 6 units and delete the Airbnb piece. So if you look here, this is the basement level right now. The basement is empty. It's just used for storage. It has enough head height and we can put a window well in to make that into a bedroom, into a unit. And then if you look at the first floor,
Sure.
you can see where, so on the left is the existing and on the right is the proposed. So we would put in fire rated walls to separate the units out. The building would then become fully sprinklered. And we're not doing anything to the exterior of the building. It's not going to look different. We're not putting an addition on or anything like that. And then the second floor right now will stay as 1 unit. And then the third floor, if you flip it, shows the dark walls show where the fire rated walls will go.
So how many units would be on this 3rd floor?
2.
Which there is 1 there now, is that correct?
Well, right now, there's actually 2. They're using it as, you see where the unit, so if you look at the right-hand drawing, and you look at the left-hand unit, that is a unit that they're using right now that they actually live in. Then the small piece in front where you've got living in those 2 bedrooms, they're using that as Airbnb right now. And what we would do is, because the Airbnb does not have a kitchen in it, they've kind of cordoned it off already as if it's 2 apartments, but there's 1 that they live in and then, those couple extra bedrooms with a little bit of a living space that they use as Airbnb.
So you're making more kitchens and more bathrooms?
So on the third floor, we would add the kitchen. There's a sink there and a refrigerator, but there's not a stove. So we would add a kitchen on the third floor. The second floor remains the same. The first floor, we would add a kitchen. And then the lowest unit in the basement, that would add a kitchen and a bathroom.
Okay. And parking is adequate?
So parking, we're not offering parking for the extra units. We worked on another project over on Linden Street, and the deal was that when we went to the building department and through zoning, they said that that particular client bought the building and there were 8 units in the building, but the 2 on the lower level had never been permitted. So we went through the permitting process, and the deal that we made with them was that any extra units, they could not offer parking. So these units here, the additional units would not be offered parking.
So we have to have people that don't have vehicles. Is that what you're saying?
Correct. Mhm. They're not offered parking. And the city of Everett said that they would not give them a parking permit to park on the street.
Is that a variance, or do you have to get a variance for that? Or is that just them saying it?
In regards to this,
The parking?
It wasn't a variance, it was a.
in regards to this project, they would need a variance, yeah.
What they made us do on the one on Linden is they had us put that as a caveat on the deed that then had to be filed with the county. It was like a deed restriction.
So the ISD is giving you permission to put in 3 additional units and not requiring you to have any parking?
Correct. That's what they've said so far, yes.
Okay, and out of these 3 new units that are going in, how many are gonna be Airbnb?
0.
Okay.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, just for the board, any waiver of site plan review would also, it doesn't preclude anyone from having to go through ISD or zoning. It's just meaning that through our process, it's a waiver of the site plan review process. And so it doesn't preclude any variances or any other necessities from the ISD department, because for all we know, some of these proposals may not be up to code and may have to go back before ISD for changes.
Well, Shane, do we have any comments from any departments regarding this?
No, we do not have any other comments in regards to the waiver of site plan review for this comment.
Is this building gonna be sprinkler?
Yes, fully sprinklered. That's a requirement by the state.
Okay, and then because you're having kitchens in the basement?
There will be 1 unit in the basement, yes.
Okay.
These apartments are gonna be condos.
Apartments.
So as Mike O'Connor points out, we don't have any backup other than the architects say so that everything's okay here. In other words, we might question her anything, and not to say she's misleading us, but we don't have any backup from our departments on this. Correct?
Well, in regards to this project, it comes to a question of a lot of things that we look at in terms of the architectural plans are questions of building code that don't come up until building permits arise.
Okay.
So a lot of these questions don't essentially arise for existing buildings. A lot of proposed buildings, we do ask for fire and building departments questions, but a lot of these questions and comments don't go through building inspectors and ISD necessarily. It's only when it comes up through the permitting process.
I understand, but what I'm getting at, I'm driving to a point here.
Sure.
If you went down to this 54 Towson Street, it's on the corner. It's brutal down there for parking. Now, as the planning board, we don't have any control over parking. Would that be correct, Shane? I want to get that on the record.
We can provide conditions as part of this waiver of site plan approval. So the board can choose to waive most of the conditions of site plan review. But you can always condition it based on if the applicant, you can do a catch-all essentially if the applicant seeks to pursue parking permits through the city, the applicant may have to come back before the planning board, and that the board can do, catch-alls in terms of this for any waivers. So we can condition it any way we essentially deem fit.
But in the purest sense, we cannot tell this applicant she has to have parking. It's not part of our scope.
Well, if the board feels that a site plan review is necessitated by this, but you can condition any waiver or site plan review on matters that affects the site itself. The applicant's not making any major changes to the site itself. But yeah, there's always a question of where parking will be located, and that could be something that's provided as a condition as well, that the board, if the applicant seeks parking stickers, that the applicant comes before the board.
Well, I'm gonna leave it with the architect stating that she was told that from ISD. What I'm simply trying to get at is the people down there in that area, I think, are gonna be justifiably upset with putting all these units and no parking. And I don't want them hanging the albatross around the planning board's neck. Simply, we're within our jurisdiction to go ahead and okay this waiver because we don't really have any power to mandate that she has to have parking. That's all. And if you go down there and you see
Sure,
what you-
yeah, because
that's all.
there
I'm
it's,
not gonna
well,
push-
any project, oh, sure, no, any project that requires any transportation element as part of it
Yep.
is a consideration of the planning board. It's a matter of impact as well as, traffic as well, and, parking standards. It's a requirement of, site plan review, but being a project of, this scale and size, it's really kind of how the board feels in terms of it.
Yeah, I wouldn't try to, put the burden of a complete site plan review on the applicant. Absolutely. Traffic.
Sure,
There is no traffic, there's no cars. So,
right.
so what are we gonna say? We want to see how your traffic's gonna flow? There's no traffic to flow. So the board has no choice but to,
Sure.
Forego everything because it's been taken out of our hands by ISD or who's ever granting all these, let's call them variances. So that's all I'm trying to bring up. Thank you.
Sure, no problem.
Thank you. Any further questions of the board?
How much more, what's the trash gonna be? This, if you're gonna have 6 units, how are you gonna control your trash situation? Is it gonna be like in the open, is it in the back, or is it gonna be like a dumpster? You're gonna have a bunch of bins?
Right now, what they have is they have multiple, those large trash bins, the big plastic heavy duty ones with the lids, and they sit at the back of the parking. So if you're looking at the building, it's up the page to the far right, is where it's at. So he has them all organized. Even now, they're all out there nicely organized.
Okay.
And pretty tight.
Thank you.
And now we're going to add 6 more units. 6 more receptacles.
3 more.
3 more.
Yes.
6.
6
Yeah,
more.
recycle. Yeah.
6
Trash
more.
and
please.
recycle.
Yeah, that's why I was like asking, where are you gonna put all these receptacles
Mhm.
without
Yeah.
making it?
So,
Well, we could
is
You
it-
could
that's gonna
ask as
eliminate
part of
parking.
this waiver, ask as part of this. Oh, apologize, Mr. Chairman.
I'm sorry?
Oh, no, I apologize. You can go ahead.
No, the audio's cutting in and out. I'm sorry,
Oh, I'm sorry. Sure. No, as part of this waiver, we could request that the applicant provides a trash plan location, whether it be some sort of gated in or some sort of area where each tenant has a certain location for the trash.
We could do that.
Okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so the chair will entertain a motion at this time.
The motion for favorable action with comments for a waiver of site plan review for 54 Tileston Street.
Second the motion.
The motion has been made and seconded for approval of waiver of site plan review for 54 Tileston Street with the necessary comments that have been made tonight to be attached to our recommendation. Is that correct?
That is
Yes,
correct.
Mr. Chairman.
Fine. Then the chair will entertain a roll call vote.
Sure. Leo Pisano,
Yes.
Michael O'Connor,
Yes.
George D'Angelo,
Yes.
Cheyenne Rangle,
Yes.
Chairman Kafaso.
Yes, the motion has
All
been
right.
passed.
5-0. Waiver has been approved.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. All right, number 3, it's a continuance of site plan review and special permit for inclusionary zoning for 6 Norman Street. Let me just get that in front of you. On the screen, okay.
Is the proponent here or the,
Yes,
Uh,
Mr. Chairman, Anthony Rossi on behalf of the
Yep, the
proponent.
proponent's here.
I'm here as
Hey,
well,
folks.
Boris Tritnik for K&K Development.
there you are, Mr. Rossi. Thank you very much.
Shaved again.
You shaved again, yes.
I did. I did. Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Anthony Rossi on behalf of the petitioner. On the last meeting, we went as fast as possibly. It was a late meeting, so I'm not sure if they had any other questions. But I wanted to make sure the board had the opportunity to receive the letters and the changes that we made based on the comments that Leo, that you had.
Yeah, I
On the
didn't get
last-
this. I didn't get these comments.
Okay, this is the letter we sent over to Shane that's here, and also the revised drawings. So maybe I can go over them briefly, if I could.
Sure, and
Uh,
just on our end, we did receive these today in PDF form, and I forwarded it over to the board today. So the board may be reading this for the first time.
So, Mr. Chairman, Leo, if I can, so one of the things you talked about, the elevator hoist rate, we reduced the height from 7 feet to 2 feet above the top floor roof sheathing. The full stair roof access head houses were omitted, and we replaced them with roof access hatches with fixed ship ladder. So those are all removed off the roof. The wall termination caps, the final clothing dryer, bathroom exhaust, and unit air intakes will be coordinated with MEP engineer, but the main goal will be to vent through the roof on all these. Please know that the building will have central boiler in the basement that provide domestic hot water and hot water for hydronic heating systems and handlers for each unit, which means there'll be no venting needed for each unit for heating or domestic hot water, which greatly reduces the number of wall or roof penetrations in the design. The vents or air intake cannot be vented to the roof, will be vented through the side walls. It will have a color match, either cement siding or masonry color. Wall termination caps, same design that we showed in the last meeting. We put those in the specs with these changes with the roof and elevations for all those changes. One of the other comments was in relation to the inclusionary, we required 3 under the inclusionary, and I asked if we would agree to increase to additional unit. I spoke to my clients and they would agree to add a 4th unit to the inclusionary, not required via the special permit, but there'll be a 4th unit added to it. So right now we're proposing units 207, which is an 818 square foot 1 bedroom, a large. Unit 211, which is an 1,037 square foot 2 bedroom. Unit 215, which is an 803 square foot 1 bedroom. And then the added unit, which is not part of the special permit, that we would agree to make a condition to add as an inclusionary unit, is unit 315, which is an 803 square foot 1 bedroom on that. And then lastly, I believe that you made comments was in relation to the traffic study. I do have the traffic engineer here that will talk about it, but we did submit a letter from DCI going over everything. I think there was a concern that we didn't take into account the other projects, and it was done during COVID testing. Test reports that were done on all the intersections in the projects were all done. We also did consider the two major upcoming projects. That was the 400 residential units, which is 600 on-site parking spaces on 65 Norman Street. And we also considered the ones that just about to be finished or maybe finished, 16 Laurel Street, which is 26 residential units. And I do note that in DCI's letter, they did state when we did the traffic study, which was compliant on 66 units, not only do we have an ample amount of parking, probably too much, that's based on when they do a traffic study of 2.46 people per unit. And this project is not 2 bedrooms and 3 bedrooms. It's actually more, over 50%, 36 1-bedroom units and 30 2-bedroom units. So, so it's actually a lot less than what is required. Nevertheless, when they do a traffic study, they still do it on 2.56 people per unit. And DCI is on board here today, the traffic engineer and the architect is here, Leo. And Mr. Chairman, if you have any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Rossi. Questions of the board?
On the thing on the traffic study, I'll bring it up at Tyleston Street and Main Street, the intersection. I guess that's the main concern with a lot of people. With that intersection running at a level of service of an E, what are they planning on doing about that with their traffic? Or do they figure it's not going to add anything?
Leo, I'm sorry, we were going, I heard level E. I'm not sure if the traffic engineer was going a little bit in and out. I have Stephen, you on the phone? Are you on the line here? Stephen Sawyer, our traffic engineer?
Yeah, so Steve Sawyer's here. Also Steve Saragusa, he's the author of the traffic study from Design Consultants Inc. I guess I can weigh in. It's basically what we do, Steve, you can confirm it, is that we see how what our added trips would do to the intersection. And my understanding is that this isn't really a large traffic generator. I forget what the peak trips are. I believe it's only 16 AM or so. And that's with the larger, considering the 2.46, so it would be less than that. But there's no change of level in service. So there's no impact as far as how long people wait at that intersection. So with this project, it's not of the size that would warrant us to do improvements off-site. I think is our feeling. Steve, if I'm missing anything, please chime in.
I just want to, for the record, that your traffic study indicates that you're not going to add any traffic to the intersection of Tyleston and Main, which is again a brutal intersection now, and you feel this project will not add to the level of service, the deteriorating level of service of that intersection. Would that be correct, Steve?
Yes, that would be correct.
Okay, thank you.
And Leo, I do want to add, I forgot that you brought up the charter school. Not that I want to bring up issues, but in our evaluation, we did look at the safety impact to Pioneer Elementary Charter School. And we did a little brief summary on that regarding trips, peak times and so forth. So that is in our DCI summary today. I'm not sure if you have it in front of you, but if you want, I can read it, just a paragraph.
Not at all. That's fine. Very good, Mr. Rossi. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Just a comment on our end. One of our concerns early on, and we saw with other projects with the such as the Pioneer, is speed of cars coming out of the garage. So I know there are these garage doors on the site. So if there's some sort of condition that there's a stop bar or some sort of methodology where these doors just don't open up and a car can fly through, as well as have stop signs at the corners of the areas on Tyleston Street and William Street for any cars exiting, because we ideally want a stop line and a stop sign at those two locations.
Steve, I think we talked about we were going to have a system in place with the garage. So
Yeah.
it opens up, correct?
Yeah, so there'll be some warning lights and such if, as coordinated with the planning department. But one item is, at least, you know, the good news is, you know, these aren't the type where the garages are right on the sidewalk. So it's not like you're coming out blind onto a sidewalk. We have 15 to 25 feet, depending on which garage exit of where it's open, so they can visually see any pedestrians on the sidewalk. As you can see.
Sure.
Both Tileston and William Street. I know it's definitely a problem when you have steep ramps, you know, a steep ramp that's coming up on, you know, it's very common in some of the ramps that you see in the city where you have the door and it's a steep ramp. It's tough, very difficult for the drivers to see anybody on any pedestrians on the sidewalks. This is actually not one of those situations, but we can put stop signs and stop bars at the sidewalk.
Sure. And also for the plan that's on the screen currently, A020, just to have the architectural plans on William Street reflect that there is a curb cut on William Street. Right now it shows the cars going off the curb. So for that plan to have a reflective of curb cuts on William Street and the stop bars and making sure that there's at least those sidewalks are ADA accessible, whether it be having the red dots for the ADA accessibility or that the sidewalks are flat for ADA accessible person to cross safely.
Yep.
Fine.
Any other questions?
We're taking the site plan review separate from the special permit for inclusionary zoning when we vote.
That is correct.
Thank you.
All right, are we ready? Any other comments from outsiders, Mr. Planner?
I believe we may have some comments, but if you would like to open up for public comment for anyone that's outside.
We are open for public comment.
Is anyone in the Zoom meeting would like to provide public comment for 6 Norman Street? Well, Mr. Chairman, I do not hear any.
Well, I'm going to have to go through the motions again.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes,
Mr. Chairman, Michael McLaughlin, City Councilor.
yes, sir.
I'm sorry, I'm not on camera this evening. Michael McLaughlin, 9 Baldwin Place, Ward 6 City Councilor. I have worked closely with the architects, Mr. Rossi, and the developer on this project. I'm excited that they've offered the 4th unit. I'm excited to see this development. It's been a long time since this lot has been utilized in its purpose in its meaningful manner. And I think this will give an opportunity for that area to see some much needed development in that site and clean up that lot that has been sort of a blind site for the area. And I hope to continue to work with these developers as this project moves forward for any inconvenience it may cause the neighborhood, which I don't see. And I do also believe that the traffic impact will not be detrimental at the intersection of Main and Tileston Street, where it is only really a congested area twice a day with the school impact. But I believe that this being a residential development, there won't be one mainstream of vehicles coming in and one mainstream vehicles going out. In the course of the day, there'll be, you know, repeated flow of traffic. And I don't think that it will be a major impact to that intersection. And as the city councilor, I fully support this project and hope you will also. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor McLaughlin. Any other comments? Well, I'm going to go through the public hearing process one more time. Anyone in favor of this petition? Anyone in favor of this petition? Third and final time, is anyone in favor of this petition? Hearing none, that part of the public hearing is closed. I'm going to ask 3 times for those people that may be opposed to this petition. Anyone opposed to this petition? Is anyone opposed to this petition? Third and final time, is anyone opposed to this petition? Hearing none, That part of the public hearing is closed. Any questions, comments of board members, outsiders, or anything?
Just one comment. If the applicant can just provide information, I know it's first day of fall tomorrow, just some information on the plan as well in regards to snow removal, whether it be trekked off site or if there's some sort of snow removal area can provide on the plans that the board signs off on.
Actually, I'm sorry, we could do that. There were some areas of site, areas on the site where we indicated snow storage areas
Sure.
on the site plan, but we can augment that also.
Okay. That's it.
Thank you. At this time, the chair will entertain a motion.
Make a motion that for recommendation for favorable action for site plan review for 6 Norman Street.
Second the motion.
Motion has been made and seconded for approval of site plan review for 6 Norman Street. Roll call vote, please.
Sure. Leo Pisano,
Yes.
Michael O'Connor,
Yes.
George D'Angelo,
Yes.
Cheyenne Rango,
Yes.
Chairman Kafaso.
Yes. Motion
right.
has passed for site plan review. Now we're going to take the inclusionary zoning.
Correct. We just have to open that up for public comment as well.
Any questions, comments for the inclusionary zoning for 6 Norman Street? I'm glad that the applicant has added that 4th unit, which does enhance the availability for those that need proper living spaces. That's my comment.
Duly noted.
So I'll do this public hearing again, please. This is for inclusionary zoning. Is anyone in favor of this petition? Anyone in favor of this petition? Third and final time, is anyone in favor of this petition? Hearing none, part of the public hearing is closed. Anyone opposed to this petition? Anyone opposed to this petition? Third and final time, anyone opposed to this petition? Hearing none, that part of the public hearing is closed. Questions, comments? Hearing none, the chair will entertain a motion.
Make a motion for recommendation for favorable action for a special permit for inclusionary zoning of 6 Norman Street.
Second the motion.
Motion has been made and seconded for approval of the special permit for inclusionary zoning for 6 Norman Street. Roll call vote, please.
Sure. Leo Pisano,
Yes.
Michael O'Connor,
Yes.
Cheyenne Rango,
Yes.
George D'Angelo,
Yes.
Chairman Kafaso.
Yes,
All right.
it has passed. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, members of the board.
Thank you, Mr. Rossi.
Thanks,
One more
Anthony.
time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Next up, we have number 4. It's a minor modification of site plan and stormwater permit update for 85 to 87, 119, 111 Boston Street. At the request of the applicant, we're not going to pursue the minor modification today, but I do want to discuss the stormwater permit update. If you could just, let me just share my screen quickly. Sure. Pretty much, I sent over an email to the board that Greg St. Louis has completed his review for 85 Boston Street for the revised stormwater plans. I sent over those plans to the board for review for DocuSign. So if the board has any comments, but other than that, we're seeking approval on our end. But part of the stormwater review required some changes to the plans. So we're looking for that stormwater review, and then the applicant will be coming before the board for that minor site plan change as well. So we're looking just for the approval for the stormwater pursuant to Greg St. Louis's seal thumbs up for the 85 Boston Street stormwater.
I have to ask you, Shane, I thought that's part of sections 28 and 29. I thought they were being taken away from us and being left with the with Greg St. Louis.
Sure, but I also want to just update the board as well with the stormwater information because the plans were impacted by the stormwater changes. I just want to get the board's okay rather than just administratively approve a bunch of things.
But we don't have to approve it. We just have to recognize the fact that it's happening.
Sure, but
We're not
I
gonna
think,
vote on it.
sure,
And
I think,
accept it. Let's
yeah,
accept it, please.
sure,
That's what we want to do. Accept it.
sure.
Right.
Okay, Leo?
Yeah, that's all we're doing. We're not having anything to do anymore with section 28, 29.
Sure.
We need a vote on this?
Yes, a vote to accept Greg St. Lewis's comments or approval.
All right. Chair will entertain a motion.
Motion to accept Greg St. Lewis's comments on the stormwater permit update for 85, 87, and 119, 111 Boston Street.
Good thing.
Second motion.
Motion has been made and seconded to accept Greg St. Lewis's approval of the stormwater for 85 Boston and 119. What is it?
It's 85 to 87 and 119, 111 Boston Street.
Yes.
Okay.
Roll call vote?
Sure. Leo Pisano,
Yes.
Michael O'Connor,
Yes.
Diane Rangel,
Yes.
George D'Angelo,
Yes.
Chairman Cafaso.
Yes.
All right, 5-0. Thank you, everyone. And last but not least, waiver of site plan review for 43 Corey Street. The proposal is to change an existing two-family property and create a 6-unit dwelling while maintaining the same footprint of the property. So let me get that in front of myself. But if the applicant is here, you may present your case.
Thank you, Mr. Planner. Mr. Chairman, members of the board, my name is David O'Neill. I represent the applicant, 43 Corey Street, LLC. Manager is Sergio Cornelio. Thank you for putting up the existing site plan of this property. So, Mr. Pisano, members of the board, this project came up in passing last week when there was some discussion about a prior plan that was not going to respect the historical nature of really what's one of the best looking properties in the city. I'm sure you're all familiar with this property on Corey Street with the barn that abuts the city parking lot and backs up to Sakura Plaza. The hope of the developer here, our petitioner, is to take this historic property and maintain 100% of the exterior appearance of the property, maintain the grounds, and keep it as much as is now as is going to be possible, yet convert what has historically been a two-family residential dwelling into 6 updated, state-of-the-art residential units, being 3 studio apartments and 2 two-bedroom apartments. So our request is that we have a waiver of the formal process of site plan. To inform the board, we will be needing to go before the ZBA because our proposal is to have 8 parking spots, which would be require a variance from the 12 required of a 2 per unit. So we will be before the ZBA. Our hope is to get a waiver so that we can get going on this project, and again, thank you, Shane, for putting up the proposed floor plans. The units are well laid out, and Peter Sandorsi of Phoenix Architects has done a great job. And by all accounts, it wasn't really a challenge to him, particularly because the building is really set up in a way that's quite conducive for the really oversized 1 or 2 family that it's used now to be converted into a more functional 6-unit. A couple of things that this project will do, and our hope to get a waiver of site plan so that we can get on our way to this project, is number 1, in respect to what Mr. Pisano stated last week, this is not going to tear down this building. It's not going to disregard the historical significance of really one of the prettiest houses in the city. It's going to preserve that. And number two, it's really low density housing of this nature is going to prevent the unregulated and kind of unrestrained use of the building. What we've seen, and you can all, I'm sure, relate to from your experience in the city, is when we have really big properties with a lot of rooms, they tend to get used for a lot of kind of unregulated, unsafe, inadequately fire safety protected rooming house type of illegal use. In this project, we've got the best of both worlds. We're preserving the beautiful facade of this building. There's going to be no changes to the layout. It's going to continue to be a historic clapboard sided. I can't tell you what the nature of the design is, but I guess I don't have to tell you, it's a beautiful building that's going to be preserved. Yet we're going to have it upgraded. Fire safety is going to be up to modern standards. There's going to be full fire suppression system installed and fire rated walls between the units. Just to give you a little walkthrough of the plan, on the left is the lower level and the first level, and there are going to be 3 units, a studio and two bedrooms. And then on the second floor, which you see in the middle, there are going to be 1 2-bedroom in unit 4, and then unit 5 is going to be a studio, and unit 6 is also a studio. And I believe I'm sorry, on unit 4 it goes between the second and third floor with the bedrooms upstairs on the third floor. So our request is that we, similar to the Tyleston Street property, we're not changing the footprint of the building nor the envelope, or really making any visual change to the property. And we'd ask that site plan be waived in this case. And I've got the petitioner with me, I think here in Zoom land, if there were any questions for either of us. But that is our proposal.
Questions?
Yeah, I do have a question. Just only 2 questions. That's a heavily treed lot, Mr. O'Neill. We're not planning on taking any trees down, are we?
Maybe I can refer to defer to Sergio on that. One of the things before you get to Sergio to comment, if you can on that, one of the things I spoke to the developer about on this was, why are we not putting in? There's plenty of room. This is a 14,000 square foot lot, which is huge. Why are we only putting 8 parking spots, and why don't we put more in and save ourselves a trip to the ZBA?
Right.
And that was the very reason. They wanted to preserve the natural topography, maintain as much of the trees as they can. So while I'll leave it to Sergio, if you know in specific of any trees coming down, that's the general approach, and that we didn't want to pave the whole thing and have a big parking lot and put in parking that would otherwise be a permeable surface.
Yes, that's correct. Actually, I wanted even a little less parking, and that's something I can discuss later, but I don't want to be able to have to take down trees, pave over the lot that has a lot of green space. The intention is to add some bike racks and things into the units, and also to have some open space for the residents, maybe even some areas where they can garden and things of that nature. So I want to preserve some of the green space. So that's kind of why we did what we did with the parking. And we will probably take down a few trees along the right where the parking spaces are. But generally, we're going to keep those nice arborvitaes along the fence in between the parking lot. There's trees in the front that need to be trimmed. There's no plan to take them down, but they do need some trimming. Other than that, and a couple of trees on the right will have to most likely come down to handle the parking on the right side. If I can avoid it, I will, for multiple reasons, some nice shade, there is a cost to it. And I don't like to tear down trees if we don't have to, if I don't have to, but that'll be determined a little bit later, how many. But the goal is to take down as minimal as possible.
Is the bond staying?
At the moment, the bond is staying. I'm still trying to figure out, this is a massive piece of property. This is just what I'd like to do right now, renovate the building to the 6 units and then see and go from there. It is a beautiful barn. I don't have an intention of tearing it down. I bought this from a friend of mine, this property, and I did try to promise that I could keep it intact as best as possible, and that is my goal going forward as best I can.
Thank you. We have 2 exits here, the 2 driveways.
We technically do not but there is room for another driveway, so it could go around. There's no curb cut there.
That goes into the back, that goes into the city's parking lot, doesn't it?
On the left side, correct. But there is on the left side of my property, it is wide enough for another driveway, but it was not planned on that at the moment. Right now, it's just coming in and out.
That's what I was saying, Sergio. It will just cut down on all the asphalt. I would like to see it not use that, cut down on the asphalt.
We're not.
Keeping the site the way it is right now. Thank you.
Yeah, that's my goal, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
We appreciate it. Thank you, Sergio.
Well, I must comment, Mr. Cornelio, that I like this project a lot better than the previous one that came before us almost a few months ago.
Yeah.
And I do appreciate the fact that preservation of the building, which is architecturally different than most buildings in the city of Everett. There are a few of those around, but that family, the Stratus family, I believe.
Yes, sir.
They maintained that as well as they could. And the mother was, 100 years old when she passed?
Almost. I think she made it to 98. She passed a few years ago. Yeah.
Right. So anyways, the moral of the story here is that I like this plan, and I'm sure our board likes this plan more so than the one that you were going to put multiple units there, tearing down the actual building. And this way here, it does keep the integrity of the neighborhood more so, as they say, and traffic will be minimized, and that's even better.
That's my goal.
Yes, I appreciate that. Any other comments or questions?
I've got one question regarding the bond. Is that bond going to be used for any type of storage?
Currently, it just stores my motorcycle and some things for myself. I don't believe I'm going to be utilizing it for my tenants.
Okay.
So I have no plans for that.
Okay, good.
Just we have a couple staff comments on my end. Just a recommendation for when this project goes before the ZBA. On the architectural plans in front of you, myself, Unit 6, the living area features a queen bed inside of it. Just at the suggestion for the architect to remove that as part of that, just to make sure that the ZBA is not concerned by that, because I know it does say living area and that unit has 2 bedrooms on the 3rd floor. Just for visual presentation to remove that bed out of the living area.
You said on Unit 6, correct?
Correct.
Oh, yes. All right. Thank you.
No problem. And just reflective of Leo's comments as well, in regards to the impervious surface, is that the applicant provide this plan showing a reflection of what the impervious surface is going to be. Because, this area does show that it may go over to the city parking lot, but if that's not the intent, that we keep the impervious surface from this barn area that's existing for the bituminous driveway and just pave the area that's presented here with the parking spaces.
I will do that. We'll discuss it with the architect. Thank you.
Sure. Other than that, Mr. Chairman, I have no other comments.
Any questions or comments from anybody outside this board? Anything, Mr. Planner?
I do not see any in the Zoom chat. I do not see any in the YouTube. And I'll be in the public hearing.
Mr. Chairman,
Oh, we
may
have someone. Oh, sure.
I apologize. I don't think my hand raising is working on this.
Oh.
Michael McLaughlin, City Councilor. Mr. Chairman, I just want to speak that I think that this is a great proposal for this property. As you said, it's one of the most beautiful properties in the city of Everett, one of the oldest historical sites in our community. And I'm really excited to see that we're not going to lose that on Corey Street, and that everyone knows that site, knows that building because of what it has meant in our community, and the one family who has lived there for 100+ years. I congratulate Sergio on making sure that the neighborhood was as little impactful as possible. I look forward to this development going forward. I don't think traffic will be an issue on this site. And I really look forward to Sergio's right vision on this and seeing that this project is done well. He's an Everett kid, making a shot at developing this site. He knows what Everett needs and Everett wants, and I'm more than excited and supportive of his proposal this evening. And thank you for your time.
Thank you, Councilor McLaughlin. Anything else? Anybody else?
Oh, in reference to Mr. McLaughlin's comments, and yours, Mr. Cafaso, on tearing these properties down, been an advocate for no tear downs in the city of any kind of these historic buildings. And I wish that a few of the councilors would be a little more proactive, maybe coming up with a plan to do exactly that, to bar these tear downs of these beautiful homes that represent Everett's life for the past 100 years. So it'd be great if we got a little more input, maybe even some action to pass some kind of legislation to eliminate these tear downs. We almost lost this beautiful building here. And if we had such an ordinance, we wouldn't have to worry about it. So just passing that on to those that are in power. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, just on that motion, Mr. Pisano, I agree, and we'll be proposing something before the city council in the very near future on your idea. Thank you for your suggestion.
Appreciate that, Councilor. Thank you.
Any other questions, comments? Having none, the chair will entertain a motion.
Make a motion for a recommendation for favorable action for waiver of site plan review for 43 Corey Street.
Second motion.
Motion has been made and seconded to for favorable action for waiver of site plan review for 43 Corey Street. Roll call vote, please.
Sure thing. Leo Pisano,
Yes.
Michael O'Connor,
Yes.
Cheyenne Rangel,
Yes.
George D'Angelo,
Yes.
Chairman Frederick Cafaso.
Yes.
All right.
Motion is passed.
It's passed.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. I appreciate it. And Councilor,
sir.
thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cornelio.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Right. So meeting minutes, I don't have them yet. I got to wrap those up. So I'll have those by the October 13th meeting. Cross my heart, hope to die. So we'll have that one and hopefully the September meeting as well that we just had. So we'll hopefully have those two for the board for that October 13th, 2020 meeting. Another communication on our end, the project at the applicant is seeking a continuation for the project at Broadway. The jewelry building. Let me just make sure.
Little Caesars?
No, not Little Caesars. Little Caesars will be at the
Bouviers.
Yes. So I received a continuation from David Carr, stating that he is looking for a reschedule of continuation for the project at School Street and Norwood Street to our October 26th meeting, if the board chooses to allow for that continuance.
I make a recommendation for continuance, not a problem.
Second it.
Motion made and seconded to continue the request for Norwood and School Streets, Bouvier property, I believe, for October 26th. Roll call vote, please.
Sure. Leo Pisano,
Yes.
Michael O'Connor,
Yes.
George D'Angelo,
Yes.
Diane Rangel,
Yes.
and Chairman Kafaso.
Yes, motion has been passed for continuance.
Okay, cool. Other than that, October 13th is our next date. If the board has any questions for staff.
Chair will entertain a motion for
Nope.
recess.
Make a motion
Recess.
for a long recess.
Please,
We got 3 weeks this time.
It's not a week, sorry.
Well, motion made for adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
Second motion.
Motion made and seconded for adjournment. Roll call vote, please.
Sure. Leo Pisano,
Yes.
Michael O'Connor,
Yes.
George D'Angelo,
Yes.
Diane Rangel,
Yes.
Chairman Frederick Kafaso.
Yes, we are adjourned. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.
Well,
Ready?
Good night, everyone. Good night.
Night.
Good night.
Bye, good night.
I hope you
Good night,
signed
good
the
night.
time slips for last week, Fred.
Yes. Yeah, Leo, you did a great job.
Great job. You all did a great job hanging in there. Thank
Well,
you.
Jeannie Vidakevich did it all.
That was a long night.